Alright. So when you think of a national anthem, what are some words that come in mind? Yes.
Marching.
Marching, that's a good one.
Patriotic.
Patriotic. Yes.
Pride.
Pride, that's good.
Flag, flag, flag.
Flag, flag, flag.
Loud.
Loud. Interesting. Yes.
Stately.
Stately. That is the one I was looking for. That's a really good word. So as we're learning this song, think about the word stately and more presence as you learn the song. So the Armenian anthem was adopted in July 1st, 1991, close to July 4th, which is really cool. And it's also based on lyrics. Just think of making it very lyrical as we learn this. Alright, everyone play their concert E flat. So B flat instruments, what would that be?
F.
F. Perfect. Our E flat instruments? Backwards, but yeah. Okay, so everyone play their E flat and just play it. That was good. So now everyone look at rhythm number 2, and let's play that concert E flat together with that. Ready? 1. I'll count you guys. I'll give you guys 2 measures to answer. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready. Alright, everyone, let's look at the spotlights go. So what are those lines that we see? What do they mean? And what are they? Yes.
They're slurs.
They're slurs. So what does a slur do? Yes.
Slur, it means to play it like connected, not like separated like staccato.
Perfect. I like that comparison. Anything else? Yes.
You're not articulating each note.
Period. Yeah. Yes.
I don't breathe in the middle.
You don't get in the middle. Really good. So that means keep the airflow going throughout each of that with that phrase marking. Ready? Let's play it all together. Ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, ready. Having that connection between each of those 3 notes, and then moving forward. Ready? Ready? Spotlights go one more time. Ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, ready. Alright, now let's move on to the melody. Yeah, let's move on to the melody. Right, let's go ahead and start at measure 9 all the way to the end of measure 16. Okay. Take a moment to find that. Ready? Just switch up. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready. So what is the difference between this whole line here? What might be different?
That what?
And from that line, what might be different? Or what's similar? Yes.
And measure 12 and measure 16, they're like almost the same, but then they're not. Just the second one is wrong.
Yeah, I like that. That's right. Yes.
So like 9 through 12 is kind of like the same thing, except for the last two measures, where instead of, I guess for my instrument, B, B, C, it's just E, E. Almost.
Yes.
The rhythm is the same in almost all the measures, except for 12. Oh, someone just said that. Sorry.
It's okay.
I was going to spit out my food.
So, let's go ahead and play that again, but really think about the phrase marking, and as we mentioned before, the word stately, and more of lyrics and make it more lyrical. Okay? Ready? Measure 9. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready. Take a moment to look over our part. Everyone start looking at measure 13 and go ahead and bring it through while I work with the clarinets. Our trumpets are resting for 3.5 measures, so look for me for that cue, and I really want you to be present. Alright, let's go ahead and, before we start that, what is our most recent dynamic? Yes?
Mezzo piano.
Mezzo piano. So what does mezzo piano mean? Maybe something different. Yes?
A little louder than piano, but not as loud as mezzo forte.
I like that. Okay, so let's keep that in mind as we learn to play this, okay? Measure 13. Ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, ready? Liking the emphasis on that fortissimo. Although fortissimo might be a little bit too much for some instruments, mainly our brass instruments here and our saxophones. But I really like that mezzo piano, and you really did respond to me when I was like, just calm down a little bit. And even then, that crescendo, you guys responded well, which I really appreciated. So I know we're at mezzo forte, but how do we get to a fortissimo without overdoing it? And maybe even making it a clear difference. Yes.
We have to start harder.
Harder,
So
right?
basically, that's the point right now.
Yeah, mezzo forte might be a little too loud. Although I do appreciate that difference, but where should we start to feel like we need to back off a little to make a difference? Someone different. Sorry, someone different. I'm really appreciating the participation, but I feel like I need someone different to communicate. Maybe Angela? Oh, so how might we get that fortissimo without overdoing it and making sure it's emphasized? More air, more presence. I like it. Yes. Gia.
We can use an accent
I did like that. Let's go ahead and do that. Alright, let's start at measure 13 and get into it. Ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and. Now for your part here. So how might a trumpet play into a national anthem? What kind of like feel? Now you mentioned the march, so what kind of other things you would describe about that?
Maybe like some shorter notes.
Shorter.
Mm-hmm.
So in the march, what other trumpet parts are like usually highlighted? Like what kind of, how would you describe that? Yes.
I would say a
Fanfare.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I was
So
gonna say.
your part is really kind of that feel, especially since you kind of are the drive for that mezzo piano to that mezzo forte.
Right.
So you can really bring it out. I really like how you were present in that. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Let's go ahead and start at measure 13 to 21 one more time. Really think about that trumpet fanfare. Your highlight today.
13?
13.
Okay.
Ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and. Previous time we tried it, let's keep that in mind. Really appreciated how you were thinking about fanfare. I can see it in your face. So I really appreciate that. But let's go ahead and start at that mezzo forte. Actually, the measure before that, and getting into that, the mezzo piano, mezzo forte, really think about that clear sound, that present sound where it's not overdoing it, more of like, I'm here and I know what I'm doing. That confident sound. Rather than in more, I'm here, you know. Like, we know, we know it here. Okay, ready? Measure 16. Ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, ready. That's a lot better. Thank you, everyone.
I love how Kiwi kept saying, well, how about some others? How about somebody else give us an answer? Can we do that right now, too? Those that haven't been in on comments much today, what do you have to say for Kiwi?
Yeah.
I like how confident you were just like in the things you had to say. So I feel like when I was up there, I was like a little bit too scared to give criticism out of fear that I would say the wrong thing for criticism. And I feel like you knew what you needed to say to help students and you were really confident in that little
I mean, I was gonna say what I was gonna say, but I'm gonna add to it. So I really appreciated that you were asking how many were coming in. I mean,
Yeah.
but, I think that really helps for students to walk in. Because like I forgot your question already, even though like I heard the answers and things, so like I'm really fun. But yeah, like just having other students come in that are not really good, it just like helps them walk in. Be prepared.
Yes.
I really liked how, like, when we were working on the scale, like, you said, like, everyone find your fingerings, and then you went over, like, individually helped me. I really liked that, like, you pointed out the notes of the scale as I played. Like, I thought that was really helpful. And, like, for me, like, I know a lot of times, like, when you're in, like, a band classroom and, like, teachers, like, oh, go find your fingerings, and you just kind of, like, mess around for a little bit, or, like, you know, like, not, like, sometimes, like, students aren't always gonna, like, be fully focused, so that really helped me to, like, lock in and, like, find my fingerings, and, yeah, that was really helpful.
I thought your props were very clear. I don't know if it was necessary to do two full measures. I think that's like a little thing that over time is just gonna eat up more than you expected. I think because you're so clear, you can probably just count off 1, 2, 3, 4 and go in. Also, as someone who's not familiar with woodwind instruments, sometimes when you're asking for different things, I wasn't sure what that meant translating technically. And so, if you have clear ideas, it might be nice to say, go for this sound, this is how you might think about doing that, just because I am such a newbie. But I do think the words that you're doing paint you with pictures and just connecting that to technique. But again, I agree. It's really nice.
Yes.
Just going off of that, I also really like the idea of like using words to paint a picture and use natural expression. If I was a kid, I don't know if I would know what state means personally. Because I was like, I do now, but I was like trying to put myself in an 8-year-old shoes and be like, what is state mean? So like just make sure it's like appropriate with the age group you're working with, but it's a really great
Yeah.
So a few times, especially in the earlier, you said, good job. Now be honest. Or something along the lines, were you happy with that performance?
For the most part, I mean, there's a few little hiccups.
Okay, right, so could you be more specific with what was good?
Um,
Like say when we played the first spotlight scale, you know, half of us botched it, me included, right? So what would be good? What could you say what was good about that? You could say, good job starting, you could say, good job, right?
oh,
what-
like being specific.
Yeah, right,
Okay.
rather than just a blanket good job, because you know, kids have a good BS detector. But if you said something specific that was good, like what?
I mean, I don't remember how it sounded anymore.
Well, imagine one, right?
Good job, saxophone, saying anything about the connection.
There you go. Right, see, exactly. Now that's truthful and it's real, and all's good, yeah.
And ironically, you gave that one.
Yes.
Alright, when you watch back your video, you said to the saxophones, nice job connecting those note saxophones. So that was a great example.
Yeah, it's
Right, and I think what Keith's point is good is that you could take that example and just literally, folks, you can give specific feedback every single time. There's actually no reason not to. It doesn't actually take more time, and ultimately it saves a lot of time because you're investing in the next time around. so that would actually be a good thing to look at on your video, Kiwi, because you can decide for yourself. Oh yeah, you'll see the moment when you told them that, these two that, and then think about, are there other places where I could essentially just apply that same concept and do the same? I think you had a hand up here, yeah.
So talk about dynamics. I love that you took the time to go over the mezzo piano and mezzo forte. Do you feel like it's worth it to talk about the Italian and English meanings of that when you go over it?
I guess so.
Okay, then just food for thought. It would probably take another, 30 seconds or so. And then how do you deal with, at 21 the first time, you kind of heard how the balance was all kinds of out of whack when we got to the fortissimo, right? How do you deal with an ensemble, like you said, that has lots of different instruments, right? The flute is probably never going to play as loud as the tuba. But how do you deal with the balance of that and making everybody fortissimo? What's something you could say to the group to make them balance? It's a great way to do it, right? It can even be as simple as listen to the person next to you, make sure you play the same volume.
All kinds of good things happen in Tzic. I love how you, oh, sorry, Catherine, go ahead.
I like that you're talking about the trumpet fanfare, because that's something that's gonna come up like repeatedly throughout everything that they play ever. I don't know if a 8 or 9-year-old knows what that is, but you could always be like, imagine your king is coming through and you're like, da, 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 da. Like that they can get the idea of how like stately and royal is. Nice.
Yeah.
I'll just add on to that as the trumpet player, they're definitely like, and I'm obviously not a brass player in general, so like when you were asking for like the word fanfare, I had no idea what you were talking about. I was sitting here, I was like, so yeah, I don't know, maybe just explain that more, because I feel like an 8-year-old again, like probably wouldn't.
You could explain that more, or how else can you do it? Catherine actually kind of did a little bit of it just now in a caricature, just a little vocal model. Right? I mean, Catherine kind of held up a fake trumpet and gave you a little sound just now, just to give the comment. How could you do? This is an honest question, Kiwi. Right now, would you feel comfortable giving us a little fanfare sound with your voice? How should it sound?
Okay. It should sound present, so excuse me. Bum 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 bum.
Yeah, that's it. That's all, right? And honestly, Kiwi, I think when you watch the video, I don't think you actually did any vocal modeling today. You did a lot of great explaining and you did all kinds of great things with your verbal voice, but use that vocal, the musical voice to complement that to help you make some of your points, right? Because something as short as that can be actually much more meaningful than the word fanfare. You can tag the word fanfare on any time. But what you want to do right now is get Olivia really feeling that sound and that style, right? So, and that was it. That's problem solved right there. Other couple things. Very beginning, you said, "Good morning, everyone," and then you said, and I quote, "You look amazing, beautiful eyes." Love the fact that was just the real. As far as I know, the real Kiwi. I mean, just open and personal and connected, sort of right away. And I want to bring that up just so that everybody, doesn't mean everybody needs to be that way. Everybody needs to be their real self. And so you've given us a good example of that, something as short as, Abby, as short as that little introduction. Last thing is the word stately. Katie brought it up, and I agree 100%. One thing that happened really nicely with the concept of stately is that you brought it back later in rehearsal. So you talked about it a little bit at the beginning, perhaps as Katie said, and maybe with some vocal modeling, you could make that concept more clear at the beginning. But then later on, when you come back, it's really great because it just helps them tie it all together again. At that point later in the rehearsal, what you're helping them to do is to reconcile a concept like stately with what you just caught them red-handed playing. Right? You said, yeah, here's what you just played, here's a little bit what we want to do with it, and that will make it more stately in so many words. And then they are primed for that concept at that point because they've just been playing. All right? So that is really good timing of returning to that concept. Thanks, Kiwi!